Hello, I'm David Braun, and on behalf of the Alamo Labs, I'd like to welcome you to Podcast 3. In Podcast 3, we're going to discuss a concept commonly referred to as a bubble, a real estate bubble. Now, what is a bubble? Well, a bubble occurs when your market is moving at a normal pace, and suddenly, for some reason, there's a rapid increase in demand pushing prices up. Now these prices will go up. Typically in a bubble, they're really artificially going up. So at some point when the conditions change, the prices rapidly come down. So you have this effect up and then down. And that's where it got the name bubble, obviously. Now I think how they get started is typically they get started in a very, very strong market, a good market, and prices are going up. Now, as prices go up in a strong market, investors then enter the scene. Now, what I mean by investors, I don't mean investors that buy a property to rent the property. If someone buys a property, apartments, and they rent it, or a house and they're going to rent it for long term, they're part of that market. What I'm talking about is investors that come in and have a very different timeline from the long-term nature of real estate. Now, the type of investors that come in, there's probably two types. One is a type that says, I can't really afford this house, but if I can just get in there, and get my payment started, and I can make them for 1 to 3 years, I can go out and make money. So I shouldn't probably be buying the house, but I'm going to do it because I know I can make money. Now the second group is a group that doesn't intend to ever use the real estate, probably never intends to step foot on the real estate. A good example of this is the condo market. In many markets, condos over the last 8 to 10 years have performed extremely well. People will come in and buy a pre-built condo. So before it's built, they're buying the condo, and in a year and a half, when the condo building is done and ready to open, they can sell that condo from say $10,000 to $20,000 more than they paid for the pre-construction price. Now, people came in and began to do this. Now, what that does is it brings in a whole lot of demand at one time. Now, when prices are pushed up like that, it's almost like a pyramiding effect. It's like where I would send out to you and say, all of my fellow appraisers, send me $10, and then I will put you on the list for the other appraisers, so for other people to send you $10. So what you have is I'm going to get a lot of money, and the next tier you may get a lot of money, but there's really no real value in that situation. Now, let's think about a market where there's copper statues that are being sold to put out in the yard, very designs, okay? People are coming in and bidding on these for a long period of time, and there's a stable market. Suddenly investors come in and say, copper, we can buy that and melt it, and we're even going to speculate that copper's going higher. All of a sudden, these bidders come in and begin to bid, and suddenly the prices go up for these little statues because they can be melted. So what happens is where a market is designed to bring buyers and sellers together, what happens in this market is they're bringing different types of buyers in, and it skews the market. So as soon as things go bad, then you've got problems. So the best way I can describe a market that's doing the first half of the bubble, the best way I can describe it is a market on steroids. It's just going crazy. Well, eventually, as with most things, something happens where they're not such good investments anymore. And one of those things might be just a general market slowdown, just a general population change. Immediately the investors say, hey, there's no return here. They walk away. So what happens is the prices rapidly fall. Now, the best way I can describe what happens is by telling you this story about when I was young. We used to have these little balsa wood gliders we would throw, and we'd throw them, bang, and they would go. And you could set the wings up and back. And depending on how you set the wings on those, they could go up or they could go down. Occasionally we'd set the wings so far to one side that when we threw it, it would go up and then it would stall and down it would come. So that's what I think about is as soon as the activity slows down, as soon as that plane that's going up slows down, the nose goes up and boom, right down on its tail. And that's what a lot of investors have done now. They've fallen on their tail. So that's basically what a real estate bubble is. I want to thank you for attending this podcast. Thank you very much.